Well, the Thunder went on a run and ended up winning 136-120. Do the Lakers win this game, though, if Luka isn't ejected?
You know, I don't know if they win the game, but they wouldn't have got run out of the building. That I could surely tell you. You know, what we did in the first half or even in the first quarter, we was playing basketball. We was doing what they came to do. Now, the whole referee and kicking Luka out the game, things changed. It all of a sudden was like a 17-point swing in a matter of 7 minutes.
They went on a 29-12 run.
There you go, 29-12 run. And so, in the end, it affected, I think, the way that the rest of the team started to play after he was ejected, because now they probably playing a certain way in their mind. Let me not do this. I can get ejected. So talking to a fan versus talking to a ref, the referee obviously felt a certain type of way about who Luka was to begin with. He came into the game feeling a certain way. So in the end, I still feel good about where the Lakers are.
Yeah, I agree, Key. Truthfully, look, if I'm the Lakers, I feel better about these last two games because, listen, like me as a player, when I look at it, when I play against OKC at the end of the year and I'm looking at all the analytics on the locker room, I'm like, you know, dang, this is going to be a tough team to beat. And then we come out there and smack them by 20 plus. Then we come out there with Luka, before Luka get ejected, we up 1. So now, in this loss, I'm not even mad in the locker room after this loss. I'm like, all right, guys, if I'm LeBron, if I'm Luka, like, we can't wait to see them in the playoffs. You know what? We can't wait to see them. You know, we're going to lock up this 3 seed, 4 seed, or whatnot. We're going to see them in the second round. The way we played them the last 2 games on the road, I'm confident playing OKC.
You feel like they learned that they matched up well against them?
Man, they brought a certain physicality, and at some points, OKC looked like, the first game, OKC looked like they was fans of the Lakers. In the first game, they looked like real fans, and they was like, all right. The second game they came to play, and Shea did his thing, but, like, when them lights, they get brighter, I always say that when the playoffs come, them lights going to get a lot brighter. Like how they, in a couple weeks, it's going to, OKC, they don't get the media coverage, right? So them 2 reporters that they got in the locker room, it's going to be about 20 of them now. It's going to be about 20 of them now. They're going to be like, oh, it's going to be guys getting interviews on the camera and not paper and pen. They're going to be on camera, and they're not used to that. You know, and that can be an intimidating factor, I'm telling you.
Yeah, I'm with you. I would have expected that the Thunder would have won the game still because of the way SGA was going. And they're on their home floor. And I still have a question. If I have a question about the Lakers, it's their ability to get stops down the stretch in a close game. But I agree with you. It wouldn't have been what it became. One of the things it points out, though, at least against Oklahoma City, is they better have Luka Dončić there, and they better have him healthy and available to do what he does. Because while we've often looked at LeBron as being able to do all the things that Luka does, I don't know if he's still at that level at this point, because it wasn't like he immediately took over and did what Luka does. So, yeah, if I'm the Lakers, I'm coming out of these 2 games, in spite of splitting it, feeling way better about what my chances are against Oklahoma City, supposedly 100%. The team to beat in the Western Conference.
100%. Well, I agree.
And Rui didn't even play. So you look at it from that, you know, you just look at it from that standpoint.
There's plenty of psychological reasons why the Lakers come out of this feeling good.
Right.
And Oklahoma City has to be thinking,
we need to get our stuff together.
What else can we do to change this dynamic? Because we're supposed to be, based on the regular season and the standings and what we've done defensively over the course of the year, we're supposed to be a lot better than this.
No, listen, that OKC team I've seen over the last couple games, that's a team that could lose in the first round. When I look, if it started today, no playing in the Timberwolves, the way they playing, OKC can go home in the first round.
Well, last night was kind of a weird build-up, too, right? Like, you had the blow-up on Sunday, and then it's positioned to be this revenge game. Then they're not playing. Yeah. Now they are playing. Yeah. And then you have the game, and it is a close game, and then Luka's out. And then Shea goes on this run, but would he have gone on this run if Luka was out?
They just made a call.
Right, so you didn't really learn anything from this game.
Adam Silver was like,
Vegas made a call.
You are not resting. You are 3 stars.
All 3 of them are going to play.
For this game, they're like, well, we're going to play one of them. We might as well play all 3 of them. This is the one question I have is the Oklahoma City Thunder, #1 defense in the league, and #1 3-point percentage, defensive three-point percentage
Yeah.
in the league. And the Lakers, who are, over the course of the season, a mediocre three-point shooting team,
That's what I'm saying.
has lit it up from long range. And what I don't know is, I mean, they looked so comfortable against Oklahoma City. Is Oklahoma City just not ratcheting what they're capable of doing? Or have the Lakers, as a result of Luka and getting comfortable with him and LeBron and everybody and what Austin is doing, that they now are a much better three-point shooting team than they were for the better part of this season? If that's the case, boy, that is a huge X factor for the Lakers.
Well, you got to look at Luka. You got to look at Austin Reeves. You got to look at Finney Smith. All those dudes. Rui, when he's in to a degree, is knocking down shots in the corner. I mean, everybody collapse on Luka, LeBron. They kick, they get wide open shots.
I don't know if you've seen it, but the numbers since Luka joined them for their guys who shoot threes, like Luka in terms of finding guys for three-pointers, he gets it to you a little bit early, and he gets it to you where you are wide open. There's times where LeBron is looking for his, and then it's sort of a bailout pass, and that's just not the same as a guy who's going to find you wide open for a three.
Well, we've seen the impact Luka's had already, but will his antics be a problem for the Lakers, Key?
I don't think so. I think he just needs to be a little bit smarter in terms of understanding who he is and where he's at with these referees. Because when they get the memo or the note or whatever the case is about him in Dallas, about his antics and going at the referees, so to speak, well, in L.A., that really hadn't been the case. Like he said some things here and there, might have looked at him a certain way or put his hands up like most players do when they think they deserve a call and they didn't get it. But you gotta think for a second, this referee comes into the building already not willing to address Luka like he did the rest of the team. I'm gonna talk to everybody up here except you, Joy. But I know I gotta be here with you, but I'm not gonna address you at all. Why would you do that? And that's essentially what he did.
Yeah, but it's
what?
not just that referee.
No, that's true.
Luka has
true.
developed a reputation. 3 minutes into the first time they played the Dallas Mavericks, 3 minutes into that game, he got a technical. Didn't get a call, was right in the referee's face, and it was a quick tee, no doubt about it. But that's the reputation that he has developed.
But last night he didn't even do nothing. Rick, he talking to a fan.
No. Here's the thing. So what he said, one, I don't even know why you would be saying that to a fan. You bleepy bleep, right?
I mean,
but you do it in the direction of the referee, and you have a reputation for saying things like that to referees.
But he didn't even see the ref, though. He was backpedaling, he turned around.
He says, look, you shouldn't be saying that to a fan, okay?
Well, I don't know what the fan was saying to him.
Wasn't saying that.
Hey, put it this way. I understand you don't want to go at fans a certain way, but if you're disrespectful to me, I'm going to be disrespectful to your ass back.
And that's exactly what the referees are saying to Luka.
Yeah,
if you are going to be disrespectful to us,
I get it.
We are not
in
going
that
to
moment,
respect
though,
you.
Rick, he wasn't
I'm not going to talk to you.
But at that moment, he wasn't talking to the ref.
Dude.
The ref ran in the sideline. He got in and friendly fire.
The referee is backpedaling because the ball's going the other direction. It's not like he got in the way and said, are you talking to me?
The ref was coming toward him. Luka was backpedaling. He turned around. He was backpedaling. He was going directly at the fan. And the ref happened to see it.
The ref didn't know who he was talking to.
Don't assume then.
No, when you have a reputation for talking like that to referees, they are going to assume.
They are.
But what would he be talking to him at that moment for? He didn't get fouled. He was just telling the dude.
Because he thought he got fouled.
Oh, he couldn't have thought he got fouled right there.
They just announced that they are rescinding the technical.
That's good. But this is...
What does that mean?
This is what... No, listen, though. But this is what Luka has to learn. Because after you go through the league some years, you develop a reputation, like you said. And me, as a player, I had certain relationships with certain referees. And there were certain ones I knew that just was no tolerance with him. And I knew that going into the games. So you know what I used to do? Before every game, I'll go over to the sideline, Mike Gorman over the time behind, who the rest for the game? All right, okay, I know I got to be on best behavior, or I know I can talk to him.
Yeah.
He has to develop that because in a situation like this, where you could cost your team a game in the playoffs will be critical. And thank God they got the leadership they do in LeBron. And this has to be a conversation J.J. Redick and LeBron has to have with him going into the playoffs. These refs here tonight, you don't have a good rapport with them. So be careful tonight. And that mindset has to be there going into the game.
No question.
And you have to realize that. I mean, you understood that, Key.
That's why I said he need to be smarter. He need to be
It was
smarter.
just certain referees, you like, all right, certain guys, you can't say nothing. Certain guys, you got a little more leeway. And you have to know that before, because if it costs you a game, it's going to be a long summer for the Lakers.
And you could argue that it cost them the game.
Yeah, it did cost them the game. And regardless if it wasn't
talking to dude,
yeah,
though.
but still.
Based on your reputation, you have to know how
Yeah,
that
but you
referees
can't.
are-
But Rick, though, you've been covering this league for a hell of a long time. I
Senior
can't get
advisor.
caught up, senior advisor. I can't get caught up
And I got to vote.
in worrying about. No, but check this out, though. I really can't get caught. I'm playing the game.
Yeah.
I can't get caught up in worrying about the referees every single time I'm coming up and down the court.
No, you're right.
cannot.
Emotional and mental discipline is a part of the game just as much as physical is.
Yes. I
So,
don't think
and
that had nothing to do with the
there
ref,
is a
though.
game within
It
the
had
game.
nothing to do with the ref ball.
Right. I don't think so.
There's a game within the game.
Yeah.
Yes, and you can play that game. I'm not talking to that ref. I'm not talking to you, Joy. I'm talking to Paul.
They rescinded the technical,
I
so
understand that,
obviously
but he
they
got threw out.
But
And it cost us the
but
game.
that's the point, though.
And you're not gonna
If
get that game back.
You're not
We're
going to
not
get the
getting
game
that game
back.
back.
They're not going to tag on the points that you would have scored. What's
They
done
should.
is what's done is done, and that's why you have to be more. I don't want to say gentle, but you have to be aware
Yes.
of the circumstances going into
I
each game.
think-
Like Paul said, you have to know your personnel. The referees are human beings. They're not robots. They have personalities. They have biases just like everybody else, even if they are supposed to do it the same. We know that they don't. We know the referees have certain reputations. We can track how they call games against certain players that look absolutely biased because they do things in such a skewed way. But that's the reality of the game. Some guys don't like to be talked to. Some guys you can argue with. And if you're a superstar player and you cannot afford to be in this situation, whether you're yelling at a fan or not, they can't undo what happened.
So the dude, so if Luka would have just smiled at the ref, he'd have threw him out then.
He got to
don't like his smile.
He got to be better at
Like, come on.
He got to be better at more like hand gestures. Like, you know, he could have went to the too small right there or something, or
It's also
or
it's-
I mean, because that's who Luka is. You never he is who he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is Luka. He talked. You know, remember in the conference finals, he was looking at Rudy Gobert, how he said something to him after he hit that clutch shot, like that's who he is. So it's gonna be hard to say, all right, but you gotta
I'm not
figure
trying
it
to
out.
take that away from him.
That's who
and
he
it
is.
Can, and it can cost you a serious game in the postseason.
Yeah.
But I also hold the ref's foot to the ground. You can't every single time just decide, I'm going to go at him.
And-
I'm going to pick on him. When the man wasn't even saying anything to you. That's why they rescinded it.
key.
Yes.
It's also what he said, because we've seen
Yeah.
plenty of players
100%. That happened to me.
who can talk like
That happened to me.
I'm sure.
I said so. I'm talking to another player, and I get kicked
Yeah,
out.
I done been there.
But
I've
Carl
been there.
Malone, Sam Cassell, those guys would get into referees, and you'd see them, and you'd go, why is he not getting teed up? Like, he's gesturing, and he's all, like, but it was also what he was saying. And what Lucas said in this situation, you shouldn't say to a fan. And if you said it before to a referee, and a referee hears that, of course he's going to think you're talking to him.
Right.
He's not going to think you're talking to some fan.
Right.
That's where Luka has to be smarter and realize that he already has established, I talk a certain way to referees, so if they hear it, they're not going to question, oh, was he talking to me? They're going to assume, of course he was talking to
Talk
me.
that
He
certain way
came
across the board to
into
everybody,
the
to
building.
players, refs.
But he came into the building already ready to kick him out.
Every ref. Every ref.
We're not talking about every ref. I'm talking about him
No,
specifically.
but I'm talking about every ref. He has that reputation where, Luka, if you're going to come at us, we're going to come right back at you. There's no tolerance now at this point. That's just reality.
I know it's reality. But again, I'll say it for the umpteenth time. He was not talking to that ref.
Right, but when that's your reputation, whether
So I shouldn't talk at all on the court then. I shouldn't even say anything. I shouldn't
but
put
you're gonna
my
acknowledge-
hands
you
up.
know.
I shouldn't do anything.
You have to acknowledge the reality of it. Now, do you make the same argument for Draymond Green? Because he's in the same boat. Like, do you
Draymond doesn't play for the Lakers.
Okay. Now we got to the heart of exactly
No.
why you're fighting this so hard.
I would make the same argument in that situation for Draymond. I literally would.
Well, I guarantee you there's been situations where Draymond was yelling at somebody else and the referee heard it.
Yeah, and if I saw it and this was the topic of our conversation, then I would, I guess, come to his defense.
I don't think anyone is going back and forth about whether it's right or it's wrong.
Yeah.
It's just the reality.
Or who he was talking to. I actually believe he was talking to that fan because of what the fan said and the history that they have.
Uh-huh.
I would still say, the fan said, your shot's short. And then Luka came back at him with something a lot harder than that. And it was something that you shouldn't say to the fan or a referee.
You want to write it down for us, Rick?
Yeah, you can write it down for me. But
I can't even come close. I can't even do the bleepity bleep bleep bleep.
I understand.
It doesn't do it justice.
I understand there's a certain way you conduct your business and you do things on the court and on the field. There's no question about it. But power through. You gotta sometimes, as a referee, not take the game and make it about you.
Yeah.
And put it in your hands. And then I think in this situation, that particular referee made it about him.
He did.
Put it in his
And that's
hands.
why they rescinded the technical.
He did, and they rescinded it. But the awareness that this is something that could happen is something that Luka has to be aware of, and that's his responsibility to not get thrown out of the game.
I hear you.
Oh, man. Whew.
This show could be so hard.
On the Thunder side, it's their 8th
Luka came back
win
in with what?
in their last 10 games, and they have already clinched the 1 seed. They are heavy favorites to win the West. So, Paul, did last night's 16-point win over the Lakers prove the Thunder should be the favorites in the West?
No. Last night's 16-point win by the Thunder proved that the Celtics should be the favorite, like I've been saying. And it also proved to me that the Thunder are more vulnerable than I thought. Because before that, going into the game, we're talking about, is this the number one team defense in the league? Absolutely, they have been all year. But what I saw in the first quarter, I saw the Lakers put up 43 on the number one team in the league in the first quarter. That's not signs of a number one defensive team to me. The Lakers also hit 15 threes. They was 15 for 22 at some point from three. And I was like, is this the team that's one of the best at guarding a three-point shot? And the Lakers, this is a second game in 3 nights that the Lakers are playing in their hometown. And the Lakers, usually you get blown out. But the Lakers were up 1 before Luka gets ejected. So to me, I'm convinced that the Lakers are not the favorite in the West. And I'm also convinced the way I look at these standings right now, Joy, Key, and Rick, if the Thunder play the Timberwolves in the first round, they may get bounced.
Yeah, I'm there. They convinced me that they are more in the mix than they are the team to beat. They have not lived up to their number one seeding, their record, their rating defensively. They won this game offensively, and they've been good offensively, and Shea's obviously an MVP candidate. But to me, they needed psychologically, after they got blown out the previous game, they needed to put their foot on the Lakers' neck. And I think they tried. I think they came out and played much better. Now, can they do more? We'll see when we get to the postseason. But I thought that they made an honest effort in this game as opposed to the previous one. And when it came down to it, it was neck and neck. So I think it's wide open in the West as a result of this game.
Yeah, I think it's always been wide open in the West. But to Paul's point, the Celtics are my favorite to win it all, especially if the Lakers aren't in it. And when I look at what LeBron has been able to do since he was a Laker, since he became a Laker with OKC, he's 15-9 against them. So that, and I know different people have come and gone since then, but yet and still, there's something to be said for somebody having an advantage over you. And when you have a young team, for the most part, like they do, it's going to be hard to overcome that veteran presence that the Lakers have, you know. And so I don't look at this game, I'm like, okay, we lost Luka, they made a little run, they beat us, but let us see them in 7. And let's see what they are.
Well, I mean, when you just look at the West, who do you really feel very confident about?
This is the Wild Wild West.
Yeah, there is.
Like I've never seen it.
I mean,
like I got about
up until
5
yesterday-
teams that can come out of like 6 teams that can come out of the West.
Depending on the draw.
Like
Right.
seriously, you got from the Warriors. I'm counting out the Nuggets after what's going on over there, but
But up until yesterday, you wouldn't have.
No.
no, up until yesterday, I wouldn't have counting out the Nuggets. But it's
They
just
scared me.
too much of a distraction losing your coach. But the Warriors, even with the Clippers, nobody's talking about the Clippers and the Rockets. They the number 2 seed, and then the Timberwolves. They've been to the conference finals and they're playing their best basketball of the year.
I mean, you can make a lot of arguments for everyone in the West.
Here's the other part. The Clippers, I think 2 days ago, they were in the play-in. Now they're the 4 seed. I mean, it's so fluid right
Yeah,
now,
they'll clip.
and I think that's a reflection.
Yeah, for sure.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.